So this is a picture of my, who was my favorite uncle. Absolutely favorite uncle. I'm looking in my journal and I kept his obituary. So my favorite uncle, and I have notes. I just did a video of talking to him in 2012, right with my son, right around May, and then he died in November. So he died right after my birthday, and he died he my third son had just turned 16, and we had his birthday. He died a few days before my son's birthday, so in between my birthday and my son's birthday. So I had just heard about him dying, and my third son, we ended up I just cried. My firstborn son told me about it. He was working at Dunkin's with his daughter, and I heard it on the street. Nobody told me. And my son came home, and he just was like, "Oh, I have bad news." And I'm like, "What? You got fired? Just no big deal." And he's like, "No, Uncle Bill died." And I'm like, "What?" I go, "Nuh-uh." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Nuh-uh, you're lying." It still shakes me up to this day because it was so unexpected. And I had just seen Bill like a million times before he died, because I got my fishing license at Walmart and he beeped, and then I saw him at Dunkin's, and then I just kept bumping into him. And so one of the greatest memories, one of the best things that happened is I did see him so much before he died. But he and I were super close. He was the guy who did everything with me and my brother. He was the one who played soccer with us. He's the one who, took us to haunted houses, took us sledding, took us to McDonald's. He is the guy who was Mr. Fun in my life. So he was my mother's brother, and a real jokester, always playing jokes on us. One of the last times I saw him, I had to run into McDonald's to use the ladies' room, and my kids were old enough to be in the car by themselves, but I was on the way to a dentist appointment for one of my kids, and I was kind of walking fast because I was in a rush, and I had my heels on, and he was sitting in there having coffee like he usually did. He was always there having coffee, and he heard me walking, and he started making fun of me wearing like these Dr. Scholl like heel sandals, and he's like, "Clump, clump, 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 clump. Look at the way you walk." And he was picking on me like usual. He always picked on me with the way I walk. And then I came out of the ladies' room. He's like, "Geez, can you quiet down? I'm trying to read my book." He was a carpenter, so he was always, improving himself, and he was reading a book about carpentry. So I stopped for a minute and we talked, but he was always picking on me. And so even going out the door, he was giving me the eye roll because I was being so loud with my shoes. So this guy was a huge part of my life, and I just came across this, had forgotten I put it in here, but I knew him my whole entire life. In fact, one of the earliest memories I have of him is I was in Suncook, and my family was there, and we had lived there down in Suncook, New Hampshire, and he came over. He was always over as a teenager with my mom. I mean, my mom she took care of her brothers and sisters, so he was always there. So I was up in my bedroom thinking I was hot stuff because I was singing in the mirror to I had a new record player, a new microphone that I was given, and my mother gave me all her records. So I'm in the mirror singing Delta Dawn, thinking I'm cool, right? And so I'm doing all these twirls in the mirror, and I'm showing off, thinking it's just me in the bedroom, and I didn't know he was watching. So I turned around to twirl, and he was watching me, and he was having his mouth covered. I must have been like 7. His mouth was covered, and he was trying not to laugh and trying to be quiet watching me. So when I turned around and saw him cracking up laughing at me, it's one of the one of the biggest memories that sticks out about him. And I didn't know he was spying on me, but he was. And then once I saw him, he just could not control himself. He was like keeled over in laughter watching me dance. So that is a good memory I have. Like, all my memories of my uncle are good, all of them. I mean, I don't think I had one bad memory of him. And I remember being young, and he would him and his buddies would go in a van and go swimming in a river. And he let me and my brother tag along with him a lot, even with his friends. So that was something that I remember, that we always got to hang around with my cool uncle.